runway 27 right, runway 30 and runway 27 left at 1502 Zulu.
Alright, so no, we're not flying this jet, but we're flying these. So we're essentially waiting for the weather to clear. We're in Miami right now, and it is below minimums. But the plan is to fly DC-3 from Miami to the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas to be exact. So there's a fleet, as you can see right here, of DC-3s. Normally you'd see that in a museum or anywhere else as a stationary piece, but these are actually still working flying cargo aircraft, which is probably the coolest aviation aspect business model I've seen in a while. Everything's new technology, and I get it, new technology is safer. But when you see and hear that an actual DC-3 is in working cargo aircraft still in 2025, I'm talking late 30s technology, and is actively still working, that's special. That's a very special system going on. So that's the plan. We are gonna fly from Miami to Nassau. We gotta wait for this weather to clear. It's not great. I'm gonna fly along with this crew and experience crossing the Atlantic in a DC-3, and I don't know what to expect, to be honest, but just being around these old warbirds in itself is, well, that's good enough for me. This one right here, as you heard earlier, is been to D-Day. It has bullet hole patches. It's incredible. So that's the plan. We're just hanging out, waiting, and fingers crossed the weather improves.
you're not gonna need your sunglasses. Although yesterday the stops were like 700. And there's some on the bottom too, but then you just go back here and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Like those are definitely bullwells. So this one was in D-Day.
Yeah.
What year is this one?
This one is 1942. I think this one is snoopier, 1942, and 271 is 1943.
Wow. That's amazing. So you guys have essentially, not that one, but you have 3 active flying DC-3s.
Yes.
And your main purpose of these is just to essentially fly cargo from the States to the Bahamas and vice versa.
Yeah, 99% is flying loaded over to Nassau or wherever in the Bahamas and coming back empty.
And you said this whole line is 1942, 43?
Yeah.
And how much, like, weight capacity cargo-wise, how much are you usually hauling base?
So with round-trip fuel, well, part 135, we're allowed up to 7,500 pounds payload.
Okay.
And normally with round-trip fuel, we'll carry 6,700 pounds. If someone has a 7,500 pound load, then we'll leave some gas behind and get gas in Nassau.
Okay. And your power plants on these, they're
Pratt & Whitney 1830, 14-cylinder radial, 2 rows of 7, 1,200 horsepower at 48 inches and 2,700 RPM at sea level on a standard day. Because they're old, everything's old. Even though they've been overhauled, it's still old metal.
Yeah.
So we normally use slightly reduced takeoff power, which probably gives us about 1150, 1100 horsepower for takeoff.
And do you enjoy flying the DC-3?
Yeah, I do. I have about 5,000 hours in type.
Wow.
And so yeah, about between 4,000 and 5,000 hours. I've been flying it for 19 years. Mechanic, pilot, instructor, check airman, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You know, as far as like you're doing these runs down to areas that have kind of weather that can be somewhat questionable, so you've probably dealt with
today.
Like today, yeah, that's a great example. Like today, I mean, you probably dealt with some pretty questionable weather.
Yeah, summertime you're always dodging lightning, thunderstorms, and rare occasion in the wintertime you get low ceilings and IFR, and if it's raining outside, it's raining inside.
Really? That's
the windshields leak, escape hatch leaks. So if it's a heavy rain day, you take your rain pants and put them on before you get in the airplane. And no heat, so you close the windows in the wintertime, try to stay warm.
There's no heat.
No heat.
I mean, there's not many active DC-3s still flying cargo anymore, is there, as far as...
I think we're the largest operator in the U.S., and we have 3.
That makes it even more special.
Yeah.
And today's run, you're going down to Nassau.
Going down to Nassau. It's 160 nautical miles. Takes about an hour. From crank up to shutdown is about an hour and a half.
Okay. And are you going to be picking up cargo down there and bringing it back?
Nope, back empty.
Coming back empty.
Yep.
Okay.
99% of the time we come back empty.
Wow.
Just because Opelika doesn't receive cargo, so if someone does have a return cargo run, we either have to go through Fort Lauderdale International or Miami International, which has landing fees, and then you got a reposition fee to come up here, and so rare occasion we do return cargo, but most of the time not.
What's your favorite aspect about this plane, about the DC-3 in general?
The fact that it's a piece of history.
Yeah.
We're flying a piece of history. This one was in D-Day, 271, made it to England after D-Day, but then stayed in England until the late 70s, flying people in cargo around there as a airline or whatever, and then charter cargo and stuff like that, and it was brought back to the States in the early 1981, I think, by the missionaries up in Stewart. They operated it for 32 years, and then we bought it from them.
And your least favorite part about the DC-3?
Flying in weather like this, worried about, is the engine going to do it or not? Because you never know. It's not if, it's when you're going to have an engine issue, so it's always in the back of your mind. Where are we going to land, where are we going to go?
I like that. And today's, we're flying Snoopy?
Yeah, 138 Foxtrot Sierra. Serial 9967.
The 967. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, you think about how old these are, 30s technology, and they're still hauling cargo. It just shows that how well built they were.
Yeah.
And
built like a tank, and it's just stay on top of the oil leaks and corrosion.
You were saying earlier, what you burn about, what, a gallon of oil an hour?
Yep. Gallon of oil per hour, and in cruise about 50 gallons of gas per hour per engine.
Per engine.
So we'll do a round trip to Nassau is about 2.5 hours of flying, and we'll put 2.5 gallon jugs of oil after every flight in each side. That's the oil tank.
This wow.
Yeah, 30 gallon oil tank. It's 28 gallons up to the bottom of the lip, and then you have a couple gallons for expansion, thermal expansion. And we normally service them to 26 gallons, and that gives us enough to go and come back. And
I mean, look at this landing gear system. Is just how stout this is. Are parts starting to get fairly hard to find for this?
they are. Even, I mean, there were 12,000 made from 36 to 45.
Yeah.
And but I think there's, I don't know, less than a couple hundred flying still.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. I mean, like, getting, when you're needing certain parts or things break. I mean, like you were talking about earlier, carburetor parts are
Super, yeah. Carburetors are expensive, getting harder to find cylinders. All the specialty sheet metal parts we can get from Basler because they have PMA on a lot of the sheet metal, the company that does the turboprop conversions.
Yes.
They have PMA for a lot of the sheet metal parts, but as far as landing gear and other stuff, it's...
Like, our tires getting hard to find too?
They were, and then Basler did not like the Aero Classics that were the only ones that were being made, so they went back to Goodyear and said, hey, can you make us some tires, and we'll buy X number from them. So Goodyear started making this tire again, and they, for whatever it is, I think the Aero Classics have a softer rubber, so they don't last as long. They start to get sidewall cracks. The Goodyears last longer, about $1,000 more, but they last longer.
I mean, I always wondered that. Like, I mean, there's not a lot of, is there a lot of twin engines that have the capabilities that this does?
No.
I mean, you look at like the Saab, or you know.
So a Saab goes faster. It'll carry 7,500 pounds, but the door is smaller. The inside of the cabin is smaller, so you have to have a smaller pallet, shove it in, and then a lot of loose pack around it.
Yeah.
And whereas the DC-3 it'll swallow a bunch.
And getting into tighter runways is easier with this, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was designed to go into unimproved fields and short runways, and
yeah,
I've landed comfortably in a 3,000 foot strip.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take off loaded out of 3,000 feet, but landing, no issue.
That's incredible.
I don't think a Saab will do that.
I don't think a Saab would do that. Yeah, no, I think you're spot on about that. And as far as like, what would your replacement be of this? I mean, they're
A turbine DC-3, if you can afford it.
do a conversion on
Yeah.
PT6.
But the PT6 conversion, they're going for $8 million a copy now.
8 million.
So, I mean, if you can find a clean flying flyable piston, you could probably pick it up for $250,000 maybe.
Yeah.
And if you could find one. Most of them are probably all full of corrosion and shit, so. I know when Sergio, when I first started with the company, we had this airplane, and then it got sold twice. And when Sergio took over the company, we bought this one back. And so 2013, I think he bought this back, and I think he paid $80,000 for it. Or no, yeah, about 80,000. And I think he's got his money's worth out of it.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, it's fascinating to me because, you know, people are like, oh, cool, it's a, you know, museum piece. Like, no, you're still flying air cargo, and it's doing like a substantially good job.
It is a museum piece, but it's a working museum piece.
Yeah, and it's doing good work. Like, I saw how you guys are squeezing those pallets in, and it was neat to see that because it's like a thing of the past, yet it's doing such a good job.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
It's nice that we have a battery pallet jack now, because it used to be a regular pallet jack, and a 1,000-pound pallet going uphill, it's like 4 to 5 people pushing on that pallet jack and pallet to get it up. Now with the battery pallet jack, it's 2 guys can load a DC-3.
In today's flight conditions, you said is pretty. I mean, it's definitely IFR going out of here.
Yeah, definitely IFR, and I think it might be below minimums now. We're right at minimums.
Minimums, IFR, and a DC-3.
Yeah.
That's. Go up? Sweet.
Finally! I'm supposed to go home.
This is first class. I like this.
Yeah, man, you're flying first class, bro.
Yeah.
Alright. Heat on them cold. Let's see here. So, in the event of emergency, you have a life vest behind. Under no circumstances do we exit out this door.
Okay.
Let's go the hamburger door for a reason. The propeller's right there.
Hamburger door. I like that.
Out the back door is how we're gonna get out.
Okay.
Down the walkway, and then you grab both handles. You go like this, and then you can open the door.
Okay.
Pressure.
0.
180.
Lleno.
Yeah.
La teta.
Firewall shut off.
Open.
Escape hatch.
Secure.
Got flaps are open and off, open on my side.
Open my
Wide
side.
open on my side. Heater.
No hay.
Pitot heat. It's all.
Pitot heat's off. We'll put it on the runway.
Generators are.
Generators are on. Right here. On.
Instrument switch.
Off.
Where is avionics?
Off.
Alcohol system.
Don't have.
Body master switch.
Internal.
Warning lights. Study source. Fuel selectors. Right main.
Left main.
Fuel computer.
And you check them. You check the fuel.
Yes, sir. We
Mains.
have full,
50-50.
50-50.
Oil.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Flight warning.
Fire warning.
Fire warning.
You want to hold the button? Yep.
Flight controls. Up. Down.
Down.
Up.
Tops and bottoms. Free and correct.
Manifold pressure.
30 noted.
Carburetor. Unlock. Mixtures. Throttles. Propellers. Rotating beacon. Clear on the right.
Beacon's on. Ready?
Ready. Clear.
Rotating. Count them for me.
Yes, sir. 2, 4, 6, 8,
Excuse me.
10, 12, 14.
55 for runway 27 right, runway 30 on runway 27 left at 1502 Zulu. Remarks, increased prediction.
Hello.
Caution.
Hello.
How's this weather for Central Florida, South Florida, coast
So
one?
you got,
on flight service.
Vetus?
It is already.
On 119.2, advise you have whiskey.
Information whiskey, winds 310 at 11.
Ground, Santos
10 miles visibility, 1,100 overcast, 3024.
We're going to be
on
taxiing at 27 right or 30 this afternoon.
Santos 201, would you like runway 30?
Clearance
Yeah, we'll take
119.2. After Tariñeña, spotted in Massachusetts.
Internal.
Parking system.
Stuck on both sides.
High instruments, we got
005.
5 on my side.
Looks like 3021.
Alright.
What's the altimeter?
3024.
4?
Yeah.
Alright.
Radios avionics.
On and set.
Having lights.
Don't need.
Navigation lights.
Beacons on.
Time and altimeter.
Loaded and set.
Set on my side. Next, I see checklist.
Clearance Douglas 138 Fox Sierra IFR to Nassau. Auto's going VFR.
Foxtrot 0 block clearance to close to Nassau Airport via the Hustle Tree departure. Hotel Uniform Sierra Indy Lima Tree. Ray J transition, Romeo, Alpha, Juliet, Alpha Yankee, direct. Maintain 2,000. Expect 5,000. Miami departure 128.6, squawk 4741.
Alright, 138 Fox Sierra cleared to Nassau, Hustle 3, Ray J direct, up to 2, expecting 5, departure 28.64741 on the box. And we have the ATIS, but we're not ready to taxi yet.
Henry Foster Sierra, understand you have whiskey, call ground when you're ready to go.
Thank you.
Clear to low, Pittsburgh Jet 11.
believe it's like $30 a person departure tax.
Per person.
Per person.
I totally get There's a considerable amount of more room.
Yeah.
I am absolutely shocked.
Shit. Check this out the door. This one was stuck in the net. Whistle.